Oh my god, I don't want to look. I don't want to fucking look. I can't look. I cannot look. Oh. It's over. Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my update to my Dexterity Ballista stacker. So unfortunately, I had to do some IRL stuff over the last few days, so I wasn't able to post an update video. Really sorry for that. Usually I want to put these out like every 2 days or so. But the thing is, at least we got some stuff finished because we did actually craft our gear. Now, I want to go over that in a second, but first up, this is just experience gear. And I want to quickly talk about leveling a boss killer, which can be incredibly annoying. Now, what happens when you have a good mapper is you're just going to accidentally hit level at least 96, maybe 97. Some builds can even level to 100 in Simulacrum, like my Poison Sparker. But when it comes to bossers, and I hate to say this, is you just have to kind of pay for carries, meaning experience carries. And those are either 5-ways or Chayula runs. I haven't done any Chayula runs this league, but I've heard that 5-ways are maybe a little bit better. I'm not so sure about that. So basically what you do is you put on experience gear. Everything that gives you experience is really, really important. You can get rings like these if you want to min-max it even more. There's also Shaper rings, which can get up to 3% increased experience. And other than that, it's also important to make yourself as tanky as possible. I also kind of like butchered my passive tree a little bit just to get all the life that I can, just to be tanky. Because there is actually a thing since Arch Nemesis mods were introduced, is in 5-ways you can't just stand in there and hope to tank everything anymore, even with an aura stacker, because there's stuff like the chaos on death effects, which also means you should get as much chaos resistance as you can. You can, for example, craft rings like these. But overall, it kind of sucks that you have to pay exalties for leveling a boss, or it kind of is what it is, because otherwise, I don't know, you can do stuff like make a mapper and then at the end transition into a bosser. But I usually really like just re-leveling a build from the start. So that's just me. If you already have an Inquisitor, obviously that's way easier for you. Now, if you want to cut on some costs, you can definitely swap in a ton of these Awakened Gems. I have one basically everywhere. And while you are probably not going to get some of the most profitable, you're probably going to get at least 80 to 120 chaos per gem that you level from level 1 to level 5. And while there's obviously other stuff that levels better, if you're on TFT, for example, and you don't want to go ahead and trade for, I don't know, 38 or 39 Awakened Gems like me, you just go to this section here, bulk, other, want to sell, and there's going to be people here who are going to sell you a bunch of Awakened Gems straight up. They're not going to be the best to level, right? But at the end of the day, you have to make do. You can also trade 39 times, which I'm definitely not willing to do. But yeah, that's overall just a little bit of a tip on how to level bossers, because obviously levels equals damage. But other than that, let's get into our crafted stuff. Starting off with our 3 superstars, basically, it's the chest. Last time around, I actually bricked one of these. There was actually a Reddit highlight of it. I basically destroyed like 200 exalts or something. This time we're back and I made the chest. There's somebody who made an even better chest since then. So yeah, if you want those, they're out there, Tamira or whatever. This is definitely a lot worse than what was on Reddit, but I'm totally fine with this one. It's absolutely crazy. I have these boots with dexterity, cold damage to attacks per 10 dexterity. We're going to go a little bit into how you can craft those, but overall, these are incredibly expensive. Now, something you have to understand when crafting for Inquisitor gear is that because of Pious Path and you get this regen transformed to Energy Shield regen, and Energy Shield is actually premium, so bases like Var Regalia, Sorcerer Gloves, Sorcerer Boots are huge, which then also means that you have to get certain mods on Energy Shield gear that you usually can't, and you have to do that with Recombinators, which you have to know how to use. If you don't want to go for Energy Shield at all, or you don't care about being a glass cannon, Augury of Penitence is still incredibly strong. And because I got this question quite a lot last time around, there is no reason to go Inquisitor if you don't have these Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame Jewels to get the Ritual of Awakening. Otherwise, just go Hierophant. This node is so crazy that it just alone dominates everything. So if you can get them, you go Inquisitor every single time, even if you have 0 Energy Shield. But if you don't have them, always go Hierophant. For example, Dexterity does not naturally roll on Sorcerer Gloves because it's Energy Shield based. Now, you might say, well, just throw Essences on it, and that's totally valid. Just that in this scenario, I wanted to do Hollow Fossils for the Abyssal socket. That's just min-maxing though. Otherwise, you can definitely go for the essence. Now, the life roll, it's nice to have. I think it definitely saves you some currency if you can somehow get these together. Now, the thing is, I cannot explain to you exactly how you get 2 fractured items on an item. You will have to read through the Recombinator guide. I will link it down below. There was an incredibly good guide by a member of the community that will make you understand the mechanics a lot more. Definitely way better than I could ever hope in a short video like this. But basically, when we have maximum life in the prefix already, what this enables us to do is, once we have our suffixes ready, we can do suffixes cannot be changed, and then straight up go into veiled chaos orbs. And that means that there's no ashlings needed, which is so good. Right now, ashlings go for like 3 exalts each. You have to whisper people. You have to trust people with your items. Just being able to suffixes cannot be changed, veiled chaos, is absolutely glorious. So that is why I tried to get fractured prefixes on my items. Now, when it comes to the plus to dexterity, the same thing applies here. I wanted to get another abyssal socket, which is why I had to fracture on the dexterity on sorcerer boots, because they don't roll there. Obviously, if you don't go for the abyssal socket, it's a lot easier. What you want to do here is you want to go for placement speed. The only real downside the Inquisitor has over Hierophant is losing 140% increased placement speed, which we're going to make up for completely. And one of those steps is getting the 40% increased placement speed. Once again, I went for the abyssal socket. It's the very expensive route. Overall, you need the 2 to 4 damage per dexterity. Otherwise, just forget about the build. It doesn't have to be fractured. Otherwise, you just have to make do with a different pair of boots. But if you can get the placement speed on there, it doesn't have to be ashling like I have here. Maybe even try to craft it on. The crafted one is 30%. And once again, if you have the right fractured mods already, you can once again work actually with Veiled Chaos. I see way too many people out there not working with it and instead going for ashling when they don't even need to. And number 3, this costed me the most. This is the Val Regalia. The reason this costed me the most is I wanted to get the life percentage life on there. Now, here's the thing about this build. If you want a good bosser and it's going to one-shot everything, why would you care for defenses? That is a really good question. You really shouldn't. The thing is, I had a lot of money to spend, a ton of money. It's like month 2 of the league. I just wanted to spend it. I just wanted to make nice items. I wanted to have projects. We had hype moments on stream. So that's basically what I wanted to do. But the one important mod here that you have to have is the increased attack speed per 25 dexterity. I also, on this one, I went for essences. So I went for dexterity essences, as you can see here, the 58 dexterity. And then what I basically did is, once again, I did suffixes cannot be changed. And I worked with Veiled Chaos Orbs. Like I said, Veiled Chaos Orbs, absolutely huge if you have fractured items like this. And then what I did for the prefixes is I definitely knew I wanted to go for the 10% of maximum life as extra maximum energy shield, which means you lose out on the 6% attribute craft, but it's just too much defenses for me. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's just too good, right? So what I did in the prefix is I worked with Eldritch currency. I worked with, I don't have any more, but I worked with Eldritch Exalted and Eldritch Orb of Annuls. Now for the implicits, as you can see over here, we have while a unique enemy is in your presence, you get something. So hatred usually only goes up at tier 4 to 30% increased aura effect, but against unique enemies, while unique enemies is in your presence, it goes up to 42%. Same for the effect of auras. I basically just took this because I knew I would be a bosser. If you want to, like, I don't know, make this into more of a mid-range build, into an all-rounder build, I really wouldn't. But yeah, those are probably the GG mods. There's also a mod for pinnacle bosses, which goes even higher. But then again, I didn't want to restrict myself to that because I want to farm fear. Next up, we also made some cluster jewels. So I have some projects here. These are not completely finished. This is the only one that I finished. The good thing about Inquisitor as well is that both life and energy shield are very good prefixes. As you can see here, I get 12 maximum energy shield per node that I allocate, which is huge. Usually the only hit you have is life, and augment life costs like, I think 20 exalts right now, whereas augment defense only costs 5, so you can finish it easier. What you're looking for here is a magic item with 35% increased effect and 8 to dexterity. The range goes from 6 to 8, so that doesn't matter. You can just divine it. But basically, that is what you want on a magic item. Not 25, not less dexterity. It has to be that. You just have to alt spam it. It can take you a lot of time. Also use Orb of Annuls to make that process faster. And then what you have to do is you have to beast imprint it, and you have to regal for another good mod. That could be dexterity, that could be increased attack speed. In this case, I think I hit all attributes, which is very good. Here I hit all resistances, whatever you need in your build. For example, this one here, the way you would finish it off is you would buy a augment life. Now the thing about augment defense is, while it's cheaper, you could be bricking it with either hitting evasion or armor, because those are also defense mods. So if you want to stay safe, you still go for life. It can obviously brick. You can also not take it at all. As I said earlier, this can be a complete glass cannon. Whatever you want. Now, the important thing about every single jewel you see here is the 6% increased totem placement speed. You can get these from Harvest implicit. I don't have it on this one yet, but as you can see here, there's a lot of fine-tuning going on. When it comes to jewelry, I made 3 different rings. I'm not sure which one of these I need yet, but what I did is I spammed the critical strike multiplier essence tier 1 until I hit the tier 1 dexterity, and then there's a third suffix that you can just mix and match however you want. Now in this case I hit tier 2 chaos res, which might come out useful. Having a little bit of chaos res even on a boss is nice. On this one I hit intelligence, which can be nice for an Inquisitor, could give you some extra crit. And on this one I hit, I think, lightning resistance. So whatever I need, I'm gonna mix and match these. I just made them for fun. Now, the way you can finish off a ring like that, I'm actually going to do that real quick because I'm probably going to do that, is you go here and you go suffixes cannot be changed. Now, what you want to do here is that you probably want to get life. So suffixes cannot be changed, and then you do a veiled chaos orb. Let's just go here real quick. Veiled chaos orb, and now you basically just have one singular mod. This is not done yet. You should not unveil it yet, though. You want to block a mod. You can actually do that because this is not a crafted mod, so you can craft on mana, and now you cannot hit mana. So now you have a, I think, 75% chance to hit life. There's only life left, and then the 3 damage mods. So let's throw it in here. Let's see if we actually get it, and there it is, the veiled life. Now, one good thing about this veiled life as well is that you actually get a hybrid mod. It also regenerates 5.3 mana per second, which can make a difference because you lose a little bit of mana regen from the Hierophant. Especially at the start, it can be a little bit annoying, but overall, I don't really see a problem. We're going to have like 100 mana open, but this can also help a little bit. As for Rain of Splinters, I think this is the perfect jewel to get your Corrupted Blood on. I also got Cannot Be Hindered here, but my damage roll isn't that great. I think that's the perfect thing. Also, talking about Brittle Ground Jewel, I said last time I want to go for Brittle Ground Jewel. I think I'm going to probably change my mind because it sounds very annoying to have to run around and brittle the boss all the time. I think I'm just going to go for Secrets of Suffering. Most likely, it will cost me a jewel socket. It will cost me a passive point, but it's most likely just the more comfortable option. I also got this bad boy here. So I got the Boetex Fire and additional arrow. The second point blank, doesn't really do that much. In other builds, it's really good, but we're literally here, so it just saves me 1 point. Something a lot of people were also mentioning last time is mana cost, which I already addressed a little bit. But basically what you can do is on your fractal thoughts, you can get 90% cost and reservation multiplier corruption, which will mean that your auras won't reserve as much. And then you have like 100, I think in my endgame version, I'm going to have like 120 mana left or something. So there's a thing with obviously this build where at the start you don't have that much mana regen, and that is simply because if we look at Hierophant, one of the weaknesses is that you only get mana regen. Let's just check this out real quick. You only get mana regen the more totems you have, but at the start when you're putting down your totems, your ballistas, you don't have any mana regen. So there's like this very small window where you can actually run out of mana. So that's very nice if you have a little bit more mana left, if you feel me. So that is basically what it's for. And it will help you out a little bit, but overall, these are pretty expensive. I would mostly focus that you get the 45% increased totem placement enchant, which once again helps a lot with that totem placement speed we lose from Inquisitor. But now that I brought you up to speed, what we have been doing, next up, what we're going to do is basically we're going to do Feareds. I bought up 50 here. I have some other frags on the side. I want to do 100 in total. Makes for a nice YouTube clickbait, right? But yeah, we're going to do these. I think this build is going to be incredibly comfortable at doing them. And as well as that, at the end of the league, I like to do gambles. as much as any other person. And there's a lot of cool gambles coming from Feared, a lot of Watcher's Eye. Also, the new Uber fights. We're going to do Uber Cortexes. We're going to get a lot of synth items, which are hype. And also Uber Elder. So yeah, next update, I'll show you some of those fights. Give you a little bit of an input on how the build actually performs. I know I've been slacking. I'm now back. We're going to go full on in. I hope this gave you a little bit of an update, and see you next time. But that's it for the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe. As always, a huge shout out to my Twitch subscribers and my Patreons. I couldn't do videos like this without you. Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, so far, leveling to 98, having to stand in 5 ways. Not the most interesting streaming content for sure. We're just chatting a little bit on stream while we're getting it. I don't think I'll go for 100. I might just stop at 99. We'll see how much more of this I endure. But yeah, I'm really stoked about the Feared. I really want to know how much money you can make with them. I really want to see what our Watcher's Eyes are going to be. But yeah, with that being said, since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.